Ladies and gentlemen, come on, yes, let's dance. Come on, let them say that. Come on, let them say that. Not in the business, you catching fever. Getting serious like empty river. Ain't no stopping by the river. And as we coming, we sweeping, we cutting, we moving all the way. Yeah, yeah. We coming, yeah. Well, it's gonna be coming. As we coming, we sweeping, we coming. Anywhere we meet up, stick. Well, it's gonna be coming. Yeah, you come on, man, yeah. We coming. Well, it's gonna be coming.
My fellow Liberians, despite our diversity, we are a united people, a great and noble people. Through the strength of our unity and the resilience of our determination, we have begun to rebuild a ravished country and have survived two deadly health crises. Our people have stood together as one united people, ready to face the future. Whether you are a fisherman of Grand Cru and Sino, the hunters of Grand Jide and River G, the farmers of Lofa and Bapolu, the Gola and Vai dancers of Bumi and Kipmount, the hospitable people of Bassa and River Ses, the warriors of Maryland, the miners and explorers of Nimba, the merchants and traders of Bong, the welcoming people of Magibi, or the melting pot of Montserrado. We are one people, Liberians. We have a great challenge and opportunity ahead of us. In unity, we will rebuild this country as a shining example in Africa, demonstrating the power of a determined and united people. Our economy and our national budget will expand and grow like never before. We will improve the lives of our people and put smiles on the faces of our citizens. I promise you that together we can and will do the job. A new day is on the horizon. The time for babysitting is over. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Okay. Thank you. And yesterday I was a little busy and tired at the same time. Every time I try to come out, I had something else to do. But I promise you guys, I will be up. I will try my best to come out every day. Yeah. So let me see. Okay, good. You can hear me. Okay, good. Everybody can hear me then. Okay, we'll be having a nice show today. We'll be having a nice show. I've been having some little tips. I've been checking all over the place like a crazy guy, just checking networks, checking the spoon, checking 50-50. I downloaded, I got a lot of tips. I'm so excited and happy, but I got to edit it. I got to go through it, listen to it, and take the ones that I want to take up. Man, I want to say this to you guys. Do not feel discouraged. Do not feel discouraged about this whole court case. The case will be over. This case will be over. I want you to be very smart. Listen to the SG. Listen to how they speak. Their tone are changing little by little. They don't have evidence. It only shows that Liberia is a place that we got to pray hard. We got to talk to God. We got to talk to God to forgive us. That not you. The problem in Liberia are our people who running for office. The ones that were there before, they think they are entitled to it. They think so. Now, this is what I don't want you to say all the time. Oh, The CPP disappointed us. Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ure. Hey. Mr. Ure took Mr. Cummings to court. Unity Party took CPP to court. They didn't just jump up and went to court. Instead of them sitting in-house and fix it, they said no. All the big mouth, Mo Ali, I remember on Spoon, that we're not going nowhere if we cannot sit in the CPP, if we cannot stand the competition in CPP, then we'll not be able to compete outside nationally. If we can't make it in the CPP, we can't make it out there. I will play his tip from his own mouth. How they gave them a tax to investigate a document that was signed May 19, and then give it to the lawyer, but that was not the document presented to NEC. It was the revised document given to NEC. Mo Ali, at that time, Mo Ali was the best guy. Mo Ali was speaking his mind. He was truthful. Very intelligent guy at the time, 2021. Because they seen 2021, he pregnant the daughter, so he was so nice. But into 2022 now, Mo Ali lying now. We ain't ready for 2022 yet. And also, Taylor Ure called on Spoon September 24th last year and said she never saw the document. After they signed that document, that was it. And the lawyers, they only talked to the lawyers, but never gave them packet copy. And I combined her daddy's tip along with her. These people continue to lie. But let me say this to you. Sometimes I don't want to talk about this framework document, but because we got a lot of Liberians who are so hard to understand, this is not rocket science. Please, hold on 1 minute. So, I want to say this to you. Let me just give you a brief history. This is not something that I found on the floor. You yourself can do it. Mr. Cummings took over the CPP May 19, 2020. That when Mr. Cummings, 2019, 2020, yeah, 2020. That was the same time the framework was signed. You heard sometimes people talk about, oh, it was April 25th. The document was done April 25th. At that time, Ure was state chairman. And even when they signed the signing of the document, Ure was state chairman, turning over to Mr. Cummings. My people, do not allow Mr. Bwaka, Mr. Ure, the other corrupt surrogates lie to you. On Zoom, because of the COVID, you saw any formal program, Mr. Cummings taking over from Ure, like what they did with Mr. Cummings turning over to Liberty Party turning, no, because it was COVID. So the framework document, everybody had copies of the framework document in their possession. That was the first time they're going to sit, because Mr. Cummings taking over now. They're signing it. So everybody signed the copy. Everybody signed the copy on Zoom to say, yes, we agree, and I sign my copy, I keep my copy, I keep your copy. Then Mo Ali, let me ask you, do you think that Mo Ali went around the same day with it to collect the signature? No, my people. There is no way Mo Ali went to Bassa, came back to Morovia, went to Mr. Cummings, rehab. No. It's impossible. Mo Ali on that 19 never went to Buchanan. I show you the Zago tape. Zago admitted this woman and I, Yombri and I, was together when Mo Ali came. You understand? Good. Now, when you look at the first signature that they had, they got some document in April 2020 something that they tried to put in there. It was with Unity Party first, Liberty Party, ALP, and ANC. So they did it alphabetically, put in alphabetical order, and then it was ALP, ANC, Liberty Party, and UP. So nowhere Mo Ali. But you know, today the vice president copied from Mr. Uri. He copied from Mr. Uri. He said 5 copies were given to Alex for Mr. Cummings to go and notarize it and give them a copy. So the vice president said that, and I quote, today, I'm not going to play all that objection. I'm not going to read it because everybody are listening to all the nonsense they were saying in court. That the old man is just a disgrace to see. I thought older people don't lie, but I am very, very disappointed in Mr. Bwaka. I say yes, going to court, Mr. Bwaka will be very honest to speak the truth. Mr. Bwaka said he signed 5 copies. He answered that he signed 5 copies. But the document that they get, that's not the document he signed. But you can't even recognize your signature. How will you not recognize the copies that you signed? So after they signed these things, Mr. Cummings took over the CPP when? May 19, 2020. That when Mr. Cummings came in. So May 19, 2020, Ure was still the chairman. And that same 2020, he turned over after they did a Zoom program and everything was in the hands of Mr. Cummings. So Mr. Cummings got a copy of the document. Mr. Cummings got a copy. Ure has a copy. Every one of them got a copy. Liberian people, is there something easy for us to know? They think, oh, you Google it. When you Google, right, say, when CPP signed the document, they will tell you, say, on Zoom, May 19. When that document came out, Liberian people got pissed off. But Taylor Ure said the Zoom call was on the 25th. You see how she lied? I will play the other one for y'all too. She said it was on the 25th. Mr. Cummings was not the chairman on the 25th. So there was no way for Mr. Cummings, or she said Moriah sent a text. So they're confusing themselves. At the time Moriah was active sending texts all over the place, it was because Mr. Cummings was the chairman. It was after May 20. It was after May 19. It was after May 19. So which one there that all the big news people whatsoever? May 19, Mr. Cummings took over. Mr. Ure was the chairman until Mr. Cummings took over. So this document came from Mr. Ure after they did it. Mr. Cummings got 1 copy. Every one of them got 1 copy. But the document actually was done on a Ure April 25th. And Ure had it with him. After April, what month is that? After April, it's May. It was done April 25th. Ure got it with him. They said, oh, this did everybody timing. They say, that document won't bring out. When they brought the document out, they signed. They all had a best thing. Everybody got pissed off with it. Oh, this document not correct. This document this and blah, blah, blah. Mr. Cummings said, listen, let us fix it. They brought lawyers. They recommended the lawyers, which Mr. Ure attested. The lawyers went and did the work and recommended 10 changes and some structure to say, no, do this one, this. And the lawyers put them together at the Liberty Party head office and explained. Mr. Ure attested to it. And after they did it, they turned it over to the committee to pile it together. Mr. Ure attested to it that they got a copy of the amended copy. Then the next day again, he said he don't got copy. Then the next day again, he got copy. The next day, I don't have copies. So they capitalize. Now, in the text of Mr. Cummings, at that time, Mr. Cummings chairman now, he said, guys, I'm sending you this, the resolution, blah, 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 blah. All the text, we read it, we tire. We tire reading the text. And guess what? Mr. Bwaka told the people in court that the WhatsApp chat room, he told us it's not a good idea. He don't rather use it. It's not something that they use. But the same Mo Ali said the WhatsApp chat room was the official chat room for all the political leaders. They all in that chat room, and that's the official place that they communicate with each other. You see how they that's why I piss off with some of the big time network, stupid ones there, who try to politicize all the things and damage the Liberian people. Because at this time, the radio station and other people, I listened to T-Max Chatter yesterday. This guy called on the phone and was giving wrong information. Mr. Chatter caught him and said, no, stop it. Bye. These are some of the things that we need to do when our Liberian people lying. If I'm lying, you call me off. You think because I'm supporting Mr. Cummings? If Mr. Cummings was guilty in this thing, I do my own investigation. I will not support Mr. Cummings. But Mr. Cummings is not guilty. He did nothing wrong. Just common sense. None of the political leaders play with this document. So I will not blame any political leaders. The only problem the political leaders having, the other political leader trying to lie, and Liberian people trying to accuse Mr. Cummings because they're afraid of Mr. Cummings. Or he carried Mr. Cummings. How in the world that Mr. Cummings will carry document to NEC when he's not even recognized by NEC? He's just a political leader. NEC do not recognize political people unless they send your name there. Just for respect's sake, they'll say, oh, hello, Mr. Cummings. They do not write Mr. Cummings and say, Mr. Political Leader, no, unless they want something else. Mr. Cummings do not run the ANC. So if Mr. Cummings was in the wrong by this time, but because they're too much diplomacy, they're too much Mr. Good guys, that's why the case have gone this far. I'm telling you, this case have gone this far. You say you got original document, you bring the original document. What make a document original? Whether it can be photocopy whatsoever, it's the stamp that you put on the wet stamp, real pen. If I take this pen and sign on a photocopy and I take it anywhere there and they accept it, that's the original. Or is it black and white? Black and white are color dummies. Understand? So, Mo Ali, every one of them know these stories. They know everything, but they lie to the T because of power, because they hate this one man. Mo Ali have eaten the sweat of Mr. Cummings. You have eaten the sweat of Mr. Cummings. Taylor, you have eaten the sweat of Mr. Cummings. Mr. Bwaka have eaten the sweat of Mr. Cummings. Every one of them ate from Cummings. You think you can hide him? You think so? Because of power. You listen to Solicitor General and say, well, I'm not the one who brought your man. God gave you that Judas. They sold Mr. Cummings for 30 pieces of silver. Now I catch up with them. The vice president going publicly lying to the public. A statement. I see why Ellen Johnson never supported this old man. I see why Ellen Johnson never supported this old man. Yeah, I see. I see why Ellen Johnson refused. They asked that old man every question and he refused to answer. He don't know that they just disgracing. He don't know. And let me tell you something. You might not be afraid of UP. UP is done. UP is into 3. They have been slashed into 3. They're done. They are done. UP will never taste state power in Liberia. That thing you can be talking, say, oh, you just take it easy. And I swear to God, nobody will tell me to take it easy. UP is done. They are a bunch of vagabonds, parasites. Yes. The few that are left over, the good ones, they are done with them because the old man is a betrayer. I see why Ellen Johnson refused to support the old man. Ellen said did good to even to carry him for 12 years. Yes. This old man lied that he, Joseph Boakai, signed 5 copies and you never took your copy. If I would sign 5 copies, I'm supposed to keep mine. Nobody signed, notarized the same document 5 times. Nowhere they will ever do it. I challenge anybody. This document, I say, hello, Mr. Kishen. I print it on 5. I take it to them. They will never notarize it. They notarize 1 document and you can photocopy and give copy because of transparency. For Mr. Ure to say that, he said, oh, I gave Alex 5 copies. 1 for me, 1 for the papi, 1 for the other woman, 1 for Cummings, and 1 for Neck. And they're supposed to bring our copy back. These guys are pathological liars and they are criminals. Criminals. We should never allow them near any state power. If George Weah, if the Liberian Post said George will be president, let him be president. But we should never allow Bernard Ure, Yombli Kanga, Mr. Boakai, never allow them near state power. They are criminals. Criminals. I'm saying it today. For this old man to say, I signed 5 copies, yes. You could hear Bernard Ure in his ears. The old man suffering from memory loss already. Some of y'all say, oh, that somebody, father, if you can't stay the heat, get off the damn kitchen. I never put into politics. You don't go into politics, you can't lie and damage the lives of Liberians and talk about you are the most decent man and try to suppress another man. You say, oh, and I don't know Cummings, and Cummings just became a colleague. That 20 that in and somebody called another stupid one call on 50-50 show the other day and said a lie. Mr. Boakai said, I know Mr. Cummings from CWA, but we became colleague in CP. You're stupid fool that in CP you became colleague. If you're going to say, oh, Mr. Cummings ran for election 2017, 2015, when you went to Atlanta to beg and you wanted for Mr. Cummings to be part of that, your stupid project. That the foundation was not even okay. You introduce Cummings. Oh, my schoolmate. In your house. It was in your house. They had a program. And Mr. Cummings was honored. And the vice president even spoke. It was in Mr. Boakai's house when that program took place. Mr. Cummings supported UP in the 2nd round financially. I challenge anybody. Don't matter, maybe Mr. Cummings bring the check outside because he go to get check. Then you lie on an oath. On an oath. If these people cannot even stay in CPP to compete, can they compete out there? If this old man cannot even run the 4 political parties that Liberia he will run, I will listen to Mo Ali. Mo Ali. Let's listen to Mo Ali small. Yeah? But before Mo Ali start, the butt naked boy will tell you how the old man, he's a troublist. So you're listening to him.
Joe Boakai is not able to run this country. He's a dead man walking. He's a dead man walking. And I cannot support a dead man walking. So Joe Boakai did not condemn tribalism because Joe Boakai is a sadistic, unrepentant, unapologetic, tribalistic old man. That is what Joe Boakai is, and that is the only thing Joe Boakai knows how to do because he exploits tribalism. So, well,
let me ask this question. If we were to run away from competition in the CPP, how are we going to stand a competition national?
You hear him? Let me ask the question. If we were to run away from competition in the CPP, that means we ain't going nowhere. How we'll go compete out there? You gotta listen to him.
Ask this question. Let me ask this question. If we were to run away from competition in the CPP, how are we going to stand a competition nationally? We will not. For me personally, I will go against any plan that say let's disintegrate the CPP.
You hear him? I will go against any plans that will say let disintegrate the CPP. But today he fighting to get out because they can't stand the competition. A young man at the time, he was in the middle. He was acting like a good guy. But today, he's a super crook, a super liar. He's not a Christian. He's not even a Muslim. That is the man yesterday. And I'm still looking for the last tape where he admitted there's another tape that he, Mo Ali, said, yes, I went around and did the signature. I went around to get the signature from all these people. The same Mr. Vice President said, when Mo Ali came to me, my name was wrongly spelled. My people, it's just that they try to put that thing into. Let me show you something here. Let me show you guys something. Okay, I will take on the page. I will show it to you. Whenever you sign, this is not no rocket science. This is not something that you must be too smart or you should be a PhD holder. No. If you sign a constitution or a bylaw, I don't see it nowhere. If you sign on June 1st and you say, oh, we got to make an amendment, the same signature in June 1st will be on our new one. The American Constitution, go and look at it. The first people, that signed it, when they put the American Constitution together, their names stay there and the date. They just took that page and put it and fix it. And whenever you amend any document, that old document is dead. This is not no science. This is not nothing big for you to say you know. Why we're not talking about it? So even the document you signed May 19, and there's an amendment done. That same signature, they put it there, they fix the page, and they put it on top of it. So even if you dead, your signature remains and never breathe. On the ANC Constitution, they still carry Henry Pedro Costa as one of the guys who put the Constitution together. And they have amended the Constitution. It's just a resolution. You sign a resolution and whatsoever. America have amended the Constitution 33 times. I think in 27 ratification. They still carry the same signature and the same date. Why in Liberia we are so hard to understand? And I listen to Taylor Urey. Oh, the get master in what? In Poyon? In main business? Tell me, Moriah, how come our signature page, you took the signature page and put it on the other new one here? Hey, man. My people, tell me. Yeah, Liberia. Me, I don't. Look, I saw that I want Joshua, just sell the country. You sell the country, you divide the money. You divide the money. Because all these people that are doing these things are all educated people. These are people who went to school. They are the ones that are destroying our country. They're not a native man. That the stupid one who said the land book, they get masters. They get this one. That they don't want spoil their country. They can't think. They don't think. All they know, They won't get the degree to get government job and it finished. They're not smart people. Individually, they're smart, but publicly, they are dull like a cutlass. You have seen a dull cutlass? Or let me just ask you, you have seen a dull razor blade? You see the razor blade, you think it's sharp, but it can't even cut paper. That has some of their dull. Eh? You're listening to Mo Ali. You're listening to him. You're listening to Mo Ali.
Me, personally, I will go against any plan that say, let's disintegrate the CPP.
Well, let me say this from what I know. We were asked to compare 3 documents. The document that was signed on May 19, 2020, the document that was given by the lawyers, and the one that was presented to the NEC. First, it is an agreed fact that the document that was signed on May 19, 2020 was not the document that was presented to the NDC, truly because the lawyers were asked to review and make recommendations.
Okay.
The lawyers submitted a version that they called the amended framework collaborative document. That document, there were some changes done in it. There were some 1 or 2 restructuring before being submitted to the Elections Commission.
Okay, your year Mo Ali. At the time that Mo Ali was in 2021 now, they just took all the CPP. They even know all the little ring my rule. These are the signature here of that's the original document copy. This is photocopy. This is photocopy. This was the document that they presented with all the signature on it. This was the page that Mo Ali went around and collected. And they added on it and they took it to NEC. They all were excited. Oh, yes, thank God we registered. They were happy. Close. No, I don't have a charger. They all was excited, man. Dancing all over the place. There, all these things here. Look. Joe Boaka, Theodore Momo. Theodore Momo sang. That the same Theodore Momo, when Mr. Cummings said, he said, oh, Mr. Cummings, are we going to sign? Mr. Cummings said, yes, you are the chairman. Then you get Bernard Ure. He signed. Then he put his date near the signature. Jesus Christ. Steve Zago signed. Yomdi Kanga signed and put her signature near there. Okay. Let's play the devil advocate. Let us say we do. The document is signed. They took that paper and they put it on the other new document and they fix. It's still not a crime. It's still not a crime. You do not sign, but they had to sign this document because they wanted it in alphabetical order. That's why some people re-sign. And when you ask them, they put May 19 because they know that the first day the document came out, it was May 19. So they try to backdate it for May 19. Nobody's stupid yet. Even Darius Dillon in the chat room, you asked Victoria, she explained it. In the chat room, Darius Dillon said, but why can't you just put the July? Then somebody said, no, the document is May 19. So you do not change. It's a constitution. You don't change it. The first time it was okay and we all voted on it. It was May 19. Then we're making a change. We're making amendment. Amendment is not that you're replacing the whole thing. If you're going to cancel it, if you're going to cancel everything and start over, it's a different thing. But it's only an amendment. An amendment, the signature remain the same, the date remain the same. If Peter Yagbabulu dies and they do that amendment, his signature will still be there. They will take. So what is the thing that most of you people can't understand, especially even on the Spoon Show here? Let me ask you. What there that y'all still can't get right? That y'all continue to ask just how the people been in court for 5 months is the same way you're talking about the case for 5 months. In Liberia, they don't talk about the case like this. They don't talk about it until sometime when it comes out, they decide to talk about it because they know the whole thing is BS, is bullshit. The whole thing is nonsense. Nonsense. Mr. Cummings will walk. But it is to the advantage of the government, especially Nathaniel McGill. And I would say for free because it's a first-hand information. The number one person who is behind it to slow Mr. Cummings down is Nathaniel McGill. So he's the one who pushing the play low, play low, play low. When they finish, they will bring Uri. And guess what? Their case can go up to 2023, 2024. Mr. Cummings' lawyer still can bring witnesses. When they finish right now, is the prosecutor. So from there, the defense lawyer will bring the evidence to the witnesses. And it is possible that Mr. Uri and Mr. whosoever. Now, this is the thing to show that this case here is simple. If you ask me right now, I say, Munir, how you want to solve the case? The only one group of people I will call the lawyers. Because they all admitted that it was given to a lawyer. I will invite the lawyers and show them the copy. Is this what you did? Look at this. If they say yes, the case is over. Why are they not calling the lawyers? These are the questions people like you who get network. They spoon network that get it's a network, it's a television, TV station. You got enough money. You could why you can even call, go behind, talk to the lawyers. You don't need to publish it. But it is your right. It is a public. You can go and interview the lawyers. If the lawyers refuse to answer, at least you're trying. But you guys are still asking questions and making it low fishy. Today, Mr. Cummings good. Mr. Cummings this. On the step, you will listen to Kev Hassan speaking the truth about Mr. Cummings. But the next day, you hear Kev Hassan say, Mr. Cummings altered the document because somebody from CDC even calling Kev Hassan say, stop what you're doing. Change your tune. So maybe some people would think that I left Kev Hassan there in the state just to make news. No. I left him there to show it was the same Kev Hassan. When he in his real Kev Hassan, he knows the truth. But when he's in the sedition, we are when Kev Hassan, then he speak lies. That is why I left him there. So if anybody say, oh, now you poke, no. I don't give a damn if Kev Hassan can praise Mr. Cummings from now to Judgment Day. I don't give a damn if the CEO can praise Mr. Cummings today. But when he read it, they trash Mr. Cummings. When they read it, they disrespect Mr. Cummings. And I'm sending a warning out. There's something they call 513. In 513, you can put all the bad things in 513. I put a post up. If anybody want to speak lies about Liberia, about Mr. Cummings, because I believe Mr. Cummings is the best candidate that Liberia can benefit from. If you continue to lie about Mr. Cummings, I will bring your lies outside too. I will bring whatever I have in my. I don't give a damn if you will speak to me or you not speak to me. I got a lot of information. People, look, once your face on the Facebook, people can get you all kind of information. I got a file. It's called 513. In 513, that the people get all the dirty thing there. When I open 513, when I bring one outside, I told you, when you hop roll, when you pull rope pull bush. And when you pull in the bush, anything behind the bush will come outside. When you go in the damn forest to pick your medicine, don't be making news because the next one behind you that somebody owns. So you're listening to them. We'll play the tape here today. Relax.
The lawyers submitted a version that they called the amended framework collaborative document. That document, there were some changes done in it. There were some 1 or 2 restructuring before being submitted to the Elections Commission.
She just put to you. Direct question.
You hear that? There was some restructuring and other stuff before submitting. So all these things that I lie, they all agree. They all agree. They had a copy with them May 19. It was on Zoom. It is possible for Mo Ali to leave from Monrovia, drive to Buchanan, get a Yombli's signature and come back and go to Ure place or stop on the highway, pick up Ure, and then come to rehab and go to Mr. Cummings. The same day. The same day. What Mr. Boaka said, they brought to him, you know, that police are looking for that. And that damn thing, it was on Zoom, but they never put it on the internet. This Zoom thing here, it was not live on the internet. It was just a Zoom. Who the hell had a Zoom? Zoom, you can record. Who control it? Who put the Zoom up? Look, I'm so afraid for Liberia. It had never been like this. To see people who want to come in power and lie. Just imagine if they can lie to Mr. Cummings. Do you own Mr. Cummings? Do you know what they're doing to poor people in Liberia? Do you know how many poor people in Liberia gone to jail, lose their property and they're in jail today because they can't fight back? You see some of the dirty things that going on?
The ANC and Mr. Cummings altered the framework document.
Hassan, in the first place, as far as I know it, the complaint that was filed, I did not see the name of the ANC mentioned as an alleged culprit of altering the document. I also did not see Mr. Cummings' name in that complaint. When we were given a task, that task did not say investigate the ANC and Mr. Cummings. It simply said compare the three documents, do an analysis, and come out with a finding. So,
The document that was submitted to NEC, was that document altered? Was that document altered?
Give us an, I will repeat. We did a report, and the findings of the report are there. It has been submitted to the lawyers. I will hold my peace until the lawyers can come up with their recommendations.
So you're saying that the document that to NEC, you're not going to speak on it because you don't know whether the document was altered or the document altered, because you seem holding back. Is not telling the Liberian people is different from the speech that Madam Yomli Kanga and everybody and you guys rally around it. And now you seem like you holding back. And you guys have got to that Jesus moment that you felt that you lied on Cummings, and you're finding a way around the black to find what? Because you guys talking about if I hurt anybody, if I did. So you guys coming to that Jesus moment to apologize to Mr. Cummings behind the door in the dark. That's what you guys are saying, because it seems like you're holding back is different from the firing that came from you guys.
To apologize to Mr. Cummings.
Well, what I'm getting from you, that you clearly saying, if I read between your words, you clearly saying that we did something wrong to Mr. Cummings. We're going to do everything to bring Mr. Cummings back, but we're going to fix it in our way. The Liberian people understand now that it's been a backfire on you guys, so you're finding a way to apologize to Mr. Cummings. That's what I'm hearing from you. My other question is, did you guys send a text to Mr. Cummings the 11th hour for this occasion that happened today?
I will say this: all of them, all of the political leaders, all of the chairpersons, the head of the legislative caucus of each party, they are all in one chat room. And that chat room is an official means of communication. All of them, all of the political leaders, all of the chairpersons, the head of the legislative caucus of each party, they are all in one chat room. And that chat room is an official means of communication. From the day.
Okay, now you hear that. You're listening, but these were the same people the other time said, oh no, nothing can be in the chat room. That was the same chat room Mr. Cummings were using, organized by Mr. Cummings. And everybody were using it. Yombly used it. Everybody used it. But Mr. Boakai said, when they asked for the chat room, he said, well, it was not a good means of communication. I told them not to. Who are you to say not to? But now what you been using from Charlie King Town? And now what you been using until you abandon CPP? Eh? They abandon CPP. We're not going nowhere. We're not leaving CPP. We're not going anywhere. Lying to you. If they can lie to you about CPP, tell me. And let me give one information here again. If I finish with this, and anybody use the word on my post, on my live, fingering, I block you from my page. I just want to tell you that. Because even out there, whether you honor my post, I take you out, I look at your situation, where you living, I don't want to be bad on you. Fingering is not a word that I want to use. Please. It's not a word you can say temporary or whatsoever, but it's not a word that I would want to use because it's an insult. It's an insulting word to me when you say fingering. Only people who love to finger can say that. So, at the same chat room that they complain about, oh no, the framework document was not in the chat room. That the same chat room they use for everyone to get a copy, they print the copy and they sat down on Zoom and we're looking at each other and everybody signing on Zoom. But today, that the chat room he's talking about.
The date of this program was set. It was communicated in that chat room by Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence, who was serving as chair of the CPP, and she updated her colleagues regularly. We were given clear instructions, and part of that instruction was do not come out with recommendations. We were asked clearly, do not include recommendations in your report. Recommendations will be reserved for the lawyers. The report will be submitted to the lawyers. The lawyers will review it, and they will come out with recommendations.
We wronged you. We're sorry. Then move forward. Are you guys ready to come to that point?
We did a report that did not indicate anybody's name, that did not indicate any one party's name. And I will stick to the point where the advisory council of the CPP agreed to submit that report to the lawyers, which Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence has informed us that the report was submitted to the lawyers, and the lawyers will review it and come up with recommendations. I am looking forward to that.
The consensus dialogue has to continue. The final consensus dialogue has to be done in November. The consensus is about getting a candidate.
Can you confirm to the Liberian people tonight that Unity Party will remain and stick with this organization, collaboration, whatever way you may call it, till convention and up to 2023? There will be no bypassing. Am I correct? Can you confirm that?
We are in the CPP to say we ain't going nowhere.
Where are we with black voting?
Is there any plan to keep out comments from the CPP, or is there any plan that you have Joseph Yima Boakai, Ben Nayure, and Yombly Kanga removing themselves from the collaboration?
The only plan I know is to further solidify the unity of the CPP is to have
Normally,
a
message
very
to me.
united CPP,
By politician.
to have a strengthened CPP. What are all plan? I ain't know about them.
Why are we on black voting?
Is that a plan that you will fight against once that hit your decks? That listen, this thing is too tough, it's too rough. We either get rid of ABC or we leave CPP. Is that a plan you can assure the Liberian people that you, Mo Ali, you're going to fight against?
For me personally, I will go against any plan that say let's disintegrate the CPP. For me personally, I will go against any plan that say let's disintegrate the CPP. For me personally, I will go against any plan that say let's disintegrate the CPP.
Good.
Because it does not even present a good thing for every one of us. What I will go for, what I will continue to fight for, and what Ambassador Barker has assured us that he will continue to fight for is a united CPP. So nobody going anywhere. If somebody else wants to leave willingly, you cannot stop them. But for the Unity Party, we are in the CPP and we are there for good.
Yeah, where are we with black voting? Where are we on that?
They're up on the rival.
We will propose that voting by resolution in an eventual CPP primary should be adopted as part of our guidelines, and we intend to push that. So anybody tell you is that upon arrival, when we go there,
That's
it will
Stanton
not
said,
be
I don't know.
upon
That's Stanton.
arrival, because we will push for it and we will ensure that it happens.
Okay, it's dead on arrival because he said it long time, and they all escaping from the city. They all escaped. They ran away. You see how they lied to the people? We're not going nowhere. We will stay in there. We fix it. Stay in there and fix it. But all they thought they were doing this thing to damage Mr. Cummings, but they're damaging themselves. They have damaged themselves already. Nothing they will do to Mr. Cummings. I want to tell you guys and assure you today, you'll be patient. Nothing will happen. Mr. Cummings will continue. They won't do anything to Mr. Cummings. This case will have an end. It will have an end no matter what happens. It's not going to stop Mr. Cummings from running. And nothing going to stop. So because they are afraid of Cummings, that is why they're doing all these things. Now, you're not listening to Manjua. Manjua was on the phone with Spoon. So you're listening to Taylor Uri, the little girl. You're listening to her.
CPP document. Nobody.
Have Talia Uri on the line. We will give her the chance to make a brief statement first, and then we'll ask her like one question. And if Mariah have a question, they can also have
Is
a
she coming in to ask Mariah a question?
That's what I wanted to find out.
Okay, Talia, what is your yeah? Go ahead, T. Go ahead. What is the purpose of the call?
Thank you, Ben. So I
It's too low, Ben.
It's too low, Ben.
Oh, it's low. Hold on. T, you got to speak louder because my thing on the loudest.
Okay, let me put my headphones on.
Yeah, she got to speak louder. That's all.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Is it much better? Good.
Is it better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So I think it's important for me to call in because I think that I'm in a unique position to speak on this framework issue. One, I'm a member of the advisory council, and number two, I was on the framework review committee. Mariah was also on that committee. So basically, the committee was tasked with reviewing and editing the framework. We worked on this framework agreement for months and months, and sometimes it got very heated. But I mean, at the end of the day, we were able to come together with this framework agreement, agree on all of the provisions. The framework agreement was finally sent to all of the different parties, ECs, for endorsement, and then sent back to the review committee now to be put in the last and final format, which would be signed by political leaders. Now, it's interesting to hear, conversations about lawyers and all of these things coming in and approvals when documents were changed. But the reality is, Mariah, that's on the call right now, on May 19th, which was the day, there was only one day that a framework agreement was signed by the political leaders. And every single leader on that day signed the same agreement. That was on May 19th. And I would just say this because there's a lot of back and forth going on. On the morning of May 19th, every member of the framework review committee got an email from Mariah. And in that email, Mariah sent the final copy that was sent to the political leaders by Chairman Good and endorsed by the ECs.
Okay, now, this is where she lied. Mr. Cummings was not in charge of that framework document. Mr. Cummings took over the CPP May 19. So what she's trying to explain was going forward when Mr. Cummings was already chairman. Mr. Cummings was not the chairman. May 19 in the morning, Ure was still chairman until the ceremony was over when it went over to Mr. Cummings May 19. So you see how she contradicts herself? That is what we all been missing. I don't know why people not thinking about it. May 19, Mr. Cummings took over the CPP. So it's impossible for Mr. Cummings to be in charge of that document. No. It was after that document when Mariah and other people started to send text. It was in Mr. Cummings' control now when the lawyers came in. So I want to listen. That's the first lies. That is how they've been lying long time.
And that was the framework agreement that was taken all around to the four political leaders by Mo Ali on May 19th to sign. Now,
okay, you listen to it. She said on May 19, Mo Ali took the framework document all around. He went to Buchanan. He went to this place. By the time Mo Ali got to the last person, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, in the night. Sometimes when the people are ready to lie, they don't think they get this girl lie just like her father. What you expect from a criminal? This man got rich from your taxpayer money, from child stealer or whatsoever. This guy brave to do anything to survive. Anything.
That agreement is the May 19 agreement. But even when Mariah sent that email to the review committee, it still had on it April 25. So in the final process, they put May 19th on the document. Now, I hear a lot of talk about, which provision changed, which provision ain't changed, let them show it, let them do this, let them do that. But the reality is the entire document is substantially different from what the committee that even the same Mariah was on, that I was on, is different from what we're seeing today. So let's say, for example, like Mariah is saying that, we had lawyers, these lawyers worked on the document and they changed some stuff in the document and it's nothing substantial. So does that mean that after the changes that the lawyers did, signature pages were just extracted from the framework that we know and we agreed on and just put on this new document that the lawyers created? The actual framework review committee, which had about 12 to 15 members on it, didn't see one copy of this so-called new framework agreement that's going all over the place?
We did.
Okay. She said all that nonsense. Lying like her father. Now listen to her pa. That's why I put a tape in between. All that lies, all this and that. That the old document she's talking about. The first one that was done when her father was chairman. Listen to her criminal father.
Sign a framework document. 4 political parties signed a framework document. And under his leadership, he convinced us that there was a need to have lawyers look at.
Good. He said, honor his leadership. That means Mr. Cummings took over May 19 when that document, because everybody had documents with them. They all on Zoom. That is how you sign Zoom, dumps. That is how you sign. You got your own, you got my own, just to know that, yes, we sign a. So then we'll print a copy up, and then everybody, they will meet, we'll get a signature and put all that. So Mr. Cummings took over now. Bam, Mr. Cummings is in charge. Mr. Cummings said, listen, this document need to be fixed properly with all the noise, this and that. That's how he told them. Yes.
The document and put it in legal perspective. We agreed. So the process began. We had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
You hear that? They all concur, but listen to that other dumb
Sir,
man.
okay, so that's one thing. We're talking about provisions that have been changed. A lot of provisions have been changed.
When did the review committee work end?
The review committee sent the final document to the review committee on
when was that? May 19th. Did the review committee work on the document anytime after?
Okay, thank you. Brilliant point. Let's say, for example, the review committee did not work on the document.
It's just a single yes or no. Did the review committee work on the document anytime after?
Mariah, so you're saying that the committee did not work on the document after?
Good. Who worked on the document after?
The document. I do not know.
To have lawyers look at.
Her pa telling her now. She said she didn't know who worked after. Every one of them was in a committee room. At that time, Mr. Ure was still the chairman. They put different people. The first document was finished and done with April. And then they prepared themselves to come to May 19th and stay when I write that when Mr. Cummings took over. So all that thing, with all of them on our review committee, it was on Bernard Ure committee because everybody, all the parties were represented on our committee. So that Bernard Ure was in charge at that time, not Mr. Cummings. So you see how they conflicting them, they getting everything wrong. So she said she didn't know, let her party her.
The document and put it in legal perspective.
Yeah, they tell her.
Lawyers?
To the point, Ben.
So since you don't know, the team of lawyers work on the document, and your dad has confirmed that.
We had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
The review committee work ended on May 19th. The document was signed, it was published to the public backlash started. The legal advisors, the committee was set up in June to review the document. The review committee had nothing else to do with the document. I wasn't on the legal advisor. Neither was any. One second. Neither was anybody. I think the question is, you said you did not know about the lawyers because at the time you were not on the NSC. At June 22nd, You would have seen that June 22nd, Mr. Cummings sent the lawyer's final copy along with matters arising. And then I think you need to put that message up on the screen so the public can see it.
Okay.
That was sent to the lawyers, but you were not in the NAC at the time, so you did not get that document. In addition to that, all of the parties were to sign a resolution. Please again put up ALP resolution so that people can see. You did not sign that resolution for ALP. The people who signed the resolution are dead. So what is the issue that you are bringing to this public today to say that the document changed substantially?
Mariah has just confirmed that indeed a signature page from May 19 was extracted and put
I did not confirm that.
Now that we have confirmed that, we can move forward now to the other document.
I say yeah, I'm dying. But did I say that then? Did anybody say that the signature?
No, she didn't say anything.
Exactly, I did not say that. Thank you.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So let me just say this. She didn't say it, but what she has agreed to is that on May 19th, the political leaders signed the framework document. If you look at the framework document,
that's not what I said.
If you look at the framework document that was submitted to NEC, look at the last signature page, please, and put it on the screen. You will see that on that signature page, all is that is May 19th. May 19th. ALP signed May 19th. Liberty Party signed May 19th. So if she's saying that they changed the framework after May 19th, then it means that on May 19th, the political leaders signed, and then in June, they added that signature page to another document. Isn't that what common sense would do?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, now, let me pull that in. This is the mistake that most of us still making. The document was signed on May 19th. May 19th. That's when the framework document was signed. And people were not happy about it. If there's any amendment, by right, the signature page remains the same. It do not change. You don't re-sign. But because of the whole COVID thing, they started with the COVID stuff. That is why they decided for other people to sign. That is why Bernard Ure and even Yombly backdated. They never signed that particular signature. It was now on the May 19th, but they went and put May 19th because try to straighten it up. That's the whole problem. But technically, you need to sign again. Only the resolution that you need to sign to say, yes, we all agree to the changes. And that resolution was sent out, and people from Bernard Ure Party signed for it. Everybody signed for the resolution, signed a resolution. So technically, the damn page not supposed to be signed. So I will just give you the common sense again. The American Constitution, with all the amendments, the signature page is still there. They just fix it and put it wherever they want to put it. It still carry all the names. It never change. If we amend our constitution today, Amos Sawyer name and signature will remain on that page there. You can go wake Amos Sawyer up to sign. The only time you do, when you replace the entire document, like now, you can see our former leaders, our people who did the constitution, the 1847 constitution, you will not see it anymore because why? We did a new constitution. We did a brand new constitution that carried Amos Sawyer and whosoever name and carry the name. That's it. But whatever amendment that will be done to the Liberian Constitution, you will still sign, you will still have Amos Sawyer name onto that new constitution. My people, this is not rocket science. This is not about what school you went to. This is a common, simple thing. But the people who saying it now, who don't know, even if that the old people they're saying that thing will understand and will teach them. But look at your daughter, my people. Look at you tell my people common sense. Oh, you common sense. You say you think common sense common.
Okay,
can I Ben, can I inject?
I will clarify that for the public.
Yeah, you
While you clarifying that, let me ask something real quick. On the document Tilia is talking about, ANC didn't sign May 19. There is no signature.
The signature.
there is signature.
The date.
There's no date. Neither is that date. Even Joseph Boyka didn't put a date.
Yes, the two political leaders.
So let's be clear. And on that May 19, again, as I said, am I speaking or is who speaking? Who's speaking right now? Because
guys.
I can respond.
Okay, wait, Moriah. Okay, so T, let's make that clarification, and then Moriah can come in. That's why I said before, the two of the four political leaders, only two of them put dates next to the signature. It was Benana Ure and it was Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Both Alexander Cummings and VP Boyka did not put dates next to their signature. So that we wanted to make that clear.
The issue there is, what is Tilia's contention? Because I'm not hearing it. And I don't know if the Liberian people are hearing it. But what is the contention? That the document, that the lawyers did not change, the lawyers did not make changes to the document? That CPP did not empower the lawyers to do changes to the document?
You guys, because you represent the ALP, you are on the NSC. It was the ALP aware that lawyers was going to review the framework document? Was the ALP aware?
Everybody, all of the parties knew that the lawyers were going to look at the document and the document could be amended. Okay. Now the question is, when was this amendment done? Who did it? Who approved this amendment? Were these lawyers amending documents just so that a signature page can be extended from one document and put onto another without it going back to the parties?
Meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concur.
Second, so T, you're saying that first of all, you are admitting that you guys were aware that possible amendments was going to happen to the documents with the lawyer. Your contention here is the ALP, and I want to stick to the ALP with you because I don't want to tie everybody else. Are you saying that the ALP never received the amended version from the lawyers? Is that what you're saying?
The ALP has never seen this new framework agreement.
So then that's the
ALP has never seen this new framework agreement.
As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document.
Okay, she took that side from her father now. The CEO man say, we receive it. We never. She took that one from her father. But watch it. Watch the phone there.
The amended copy, we have copies.
You're there? The amended copies, we got copies. The lawyers met us, we got copies. But in the same interview, this old man, this Ure, who been stealing Ladrempo money for so long, lying broad day. So his daughter too now, who is the only difference that she's a woman, just like him, said we never saw it, so she copied her part. In fact, let me push it by small mode. Listen to
everybody else. Are you saying that the ALP never received the amended version from the lawyers? Is that what you're saying?
The ALP has never seen this new framework agreement.
So then that's the
ALP has never seen this new framework agreement.
As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document. The amended copy, we have copies of. The amended copy, we have copies of. May 19, the framework document was signed. Copies of that document should have been forwarded to each political party because there were 5 copies we signed. One for each political party and one to be taken to NEC. As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document because the law.
Okay. Now you hear when Bernard Ure said that 5 copies will sound as if they were all sitting in one room and they signed 5 copies. And each of that copy, the old man lied that he forgot a Zoom. He said, and each of that copy was going to be given. How in the world I will sign 5 copies and I don't take my own? And my people, you hear me now. They won't, they not know nothing for you to say. 5 copies. How will you be on Zoom and you alone sign 5 copies? Mo Ali went around and said, Mr. Cummings, yeah, the 5 copies signed. Okay, I'll move from here. Then I'll go to Joe Barker. Let the 5 copies sign because Joe Barker said you signed 5 copies too. Oh, they put out a lie.
Lawyers did do an amendment of the framework document, and they did it under our advice and consent. The amended copy, we have copies of. As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document. It still wasn't a document that was filed into NEC. It is crystal clear to you. We did sign a framework document. 4 political parties signed a framework document. And under his leadership, he convinced us that there was a need to have lawyers look at the document and put it in legal perspective. We agreed. So the process began. The last we heard of it is we had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
The document itself carries May 19. The document coming submitted now, the type of the document, the date on the document is May 19.
They're a liar. Come on.
The post signed the original document on what? April 25th. The document coming selling May 19 on the document.
May 19, the framework document was signed.
The document itself carries May 19th, while the notarized page carries 2 different dates, and the confirmation of receipt by NEC has a date that is different from the submission date.
Because you're very stupid, that's all.
The document itself carries May 19. The document coming submitted now, the type of the document, the date on the document is May 19. The post signed the original document on what? April 25th. The document coming selling May 19 on the document.
May 19, the framework document was signed.
The day you turned over was the day the document was signed.
The post signed the original document on what? April 25th. The document coming selling May 19 on the document.
May 19, the framework document was signed.
The day you turned over.
Yeah. The day you turn over, that's the day the document was signed. Mr. Cummings took over May 19. So May 19 in the morning going to the program, Mr. Ure was still the chairman, and this document was under the supervision of Mr. Ure. So May 19, when they did everything, Mr. Cummings got copy. Mr. Cummings was in charge now, and that's how the lawyers came in. So you see, but they seem fool here. This other swine said that Mr. Cummings got May 19 on the document, but the real document that April 25th, they other swine every day he on Facebook cussing Mr. Cummings. They pervert, he got baby's picture playing with people's daughter then. That's why they took a picture right in the damn place they're butt naked. They swine lying. Yeah, his own lies catch up with him.
What was the day the document was signed? So
thank you.
Framework agreement that we have seen is the one that we signed on May 19.
Okay.
Now, how our signature was removed from the May 19 document and put on the June or July document is where the question is.
That one is very simple, Auntie Joa. It's just that because in Liberia, you don't do things the right way. Technically, nobody need to sign again. But because they couldn't get every one of you on Zoom, technically, nobody need to sign. If you amend a document, you don't amend the signature. You don't amend dates. All you need to do, if your power was dead, what you think they're going to do? They were still going to use the signature. If Mr. Cummings was not alive and dead, they will still use the signature. That is the point of a legal document or constitution. Once you sign a constitution, is ratified and the entire body approve it, that signature, the Library Association signature, my constitution, my signature is there. They do an amendment, my signature will remain there. Whether I'm president or not, it will remain there. Just stop the thing here, man. Like,
okay. So let me adjust that. Clarify the first. No, let me clarify the first one.
No,
Thank you.
She
just said to the public that the ALP was not aware of the changes the lawyers made to the document. Please put up the screenshot of the NAC chat room with Mr. Cummings sending the documents from the lawyers and the matters arising out of the document. And also, if we can go back to Mr. Uri's video in the last few weeks where
we had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
He confirmed that the lawyers made changes to the document and they were aware about it. And we can send, but please put up the screenshots of the documents submitted to the NAC and the message from Mr. Cummings.
And
can you see this?
Yeah.
This is what you sent, right?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody can see it clear, right?
Yes. Test team, I just sent you the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. I will forward a few other documents in preparation. In the future, I would endeavor to send the agenda and other materials for at least 24 hours in advance. Thanks. And that was sent. You can read the date that was sent.
So this is from 7:05 p.m. Whatever, I think it's from Mr. Cummings. Mm-hmm. This is from the chat room, the CPP National Advisory Council chat room. This is it right there. You see it?
Mm-hmm. What does it say?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, read it, Mariah.
Here are the dates we discussed at Tuesday,
June 23rd.
It's on June 25th. Tuesday's meeting was June 23rd. And then the list, the timeline, the time frames of what the parties needed to do to be able to sign the resolution so that the document can be filed. All of these were agreed on, discussed and agreed at Tuesday's meeting, including the document that you can see, framework document. So how in the world that someone from the ALP would now come and say that ALP did not see the document? If your party did not show it to you, that was an issue, but go back and look at ALP's resolution. It was signed by several executive committee members of ALP, and it was submitted to the ANC on July 7th, signed for by Sherry Woodell, who is the secretary for Alusha Store at the time he was the SG. You cannot now come to the public and say this very document that you endorsed, this document that you had a resolution for, this document that was sent to you, this document that was discussed. And the last thing I want to say, please, Ben, I know, the last thing said, police, here are the documents from the lawyers with the issues, with the key issues they suggest to change in the framework agreement. I'm forwarding next the framework for each party's easy to review and approve. It is critical that we stick to the timeline agreed for each party to submit their respective resolution. We run the serious risk of not getting the CPP certified in time to register our candidates if we do not meet the deadline. Okay. This was sent June 25th. What's in the NAC chat room? Let me conclude. Tia was not in the NAC chat room at the time. She and I were in the NEC chat room. June 22nd, the document was sent to the NAC chat room. June 25th, after the June 23rd meeting, the document was sent again with the timelines. To say that the signature page was taken, I think she should allow me to speak. I usually allow her to speak. To say that the signature page was taken and put on another document is a blatant diabolical lie. On the day of the framework signing, all of the political leaders were in different locations. Yomli Kanga Lawrence was in Basel. How did her signature get on one page? She was in Grand Bassa on the signing on May 19th. Who went there? It was the middle of COVID. It was in Caresburg. So how long of the signatures come on one page on Zoom? On Zoom. The reason you see May 19 on that is because when they were signing it, it was after the lawyer part. They had to put the May 19 because it was consistent with the framework with the May 19 on the framework date, and that the framework was signed on May 19. But it wasn't to say that a signature page was taken from a document and put on another document. How you would get signature page from people in different locations on May 19?
Not the same date.
And the reason you see other people did not put signatures on it was because we get a document. Okay, when did we sign the framework? May 19. Okay, you put the May 19 on it. It was a continuation.
Okay.
May 19th was not the day that the framework on Zoom was signed. So Mariah has to get her date straight and get her story straight as well. May 19th was the day that Mo Ali carried the document around to the various political leaders to sign. No Zoom call was done on that day. So let's get that point clear. The Zoom call was done in April. So that is completely different.
She just said that the framework was not signed on May 19th. Please, everybody, go on Google. When the CPP signed
No, Mariah. No, she didn't say that. No, she didn't say that.
That's what she said.
No,
That's
she
what
said
she said. She said it was signed
no,
in.
Mariah.
She said a Zoom call.
Yeah, she said the Zoom call was in April.
It was
She
not. It was May 19th.
Now the same Mariah is coming back to say, oh, Commies posted framework agreement on June 22nd in the lawyers edited framework agreement on June 22nd in the advisory council chat room. So then, madam, why is it that our signature, ALP signature, is still for May 19th if you submitted it on June 22nd? You answer that question?
The Zoom call for the signing of the framework.
Since we're sending screenshots, I will send the screenshot of Mariah's email to the team on May 19th, giving the team the final framework agreement, which we did sign.
And I want us to be fair here because we're on a national platform, right? One, Talia, I'm sure we all heard it. He said that Mariah had her dates wrong. That May 19 was not the day of the Zoom call. That the Zoom call happened in April. She did not call a date in April. She just said the Zoom call happened in April. I want to make that clear.
That is not true. Everybody can go on Google and sign the agreement. CPP agreement that was signed on Zoom, that Zoom call May 19th. Please, here it says we got news media on May 20th reporting the signature. CPP makes history, signed framework agreement, 26 on chairmanship. It's all in the media. Please Google. The Zoom call was on May 19th. So Tina is wrong. And this is why I like the fact that she's here. So let's clarify that. A simple Google search. When the CPP Liberia signed framework agreement, May 19th. That was the signing date. It was not in April.
Okay.
Mr. So we got over May 19th.
Transparency. Can you tell us which part of the document, be specific, that was altered?
Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's a long document, so I can't go over it point by point. But some of the key areas. One, the consensus building process. In the original document, we didn't have any dates that were supposed to lead up to the consensus building process.
The consensus dialogue has to continue. The final consensus dialogue has to be done in November. The consensus is about getting a candidate.
Date was December. in the new document, you see dates about with September, October, which are things that we had never seen before. The dispute resolution.
Maybe you have never heard what I was saying. I put that piece there. You heard Mo Ali. Mo Ali said he explained it from the framework, the one that was amended. That is the same. Listen, the document they're crying about, that's the same document they took from Yombly, and that's the document they were operating on. That is why Mo Ali was explaining that we got the consensus building to be done in November. But the old document, the first one that came out, the LibRempo rejected it. LibRempo rejected that document before they gave it to the lawyers. That's the document they want they should bring. That is what they won't use, because in that document, there's no exit clause in that document. There is nothing there about the VPS, nothing. All that nonsense, it was just a trash. I got a copy of that document. It's a trash. They fix it. You know what I'm saying? They amended it. The lawyers told them. But because they are criminals, they lie too damn much. So let me just push it back a little bit.
Lead up to the consensus building process,
the consensus dialogue has to continue. The final consensus dialogue has to be done in
November, because it's in the framework. November. You hear Mo Ali talking about it? Mo Ali talking about it. So when they talk over, they saw all the various dates. By November, they're supposed to be done. In fact, because of the second COVID, that is why Yombly never did it. But according to them, you know, they put her all kind of, after they noticed that there was no way they can win Mr. Cummings anymore. Mr. Cummings have gained ground. And even today, you can tell that people in the UP was going to vote for Mr. Cummings, because UP is split into three. People in the Liberty Party, majority was going to vote for Mr. Cummings, because the ALP is nothing. The ALP is a family organization. You see? So that all that thing pissing them off.
The consensus is about getting candidate.
Date was December. In the new document, you see dates about with September, October, which are things that we had never seen before. The dispute resolution and grievance section as well has been changed a lot. It was purposely left vague because we have a lot of different parties coming together. So we didn't want to make it very stringent when we were doing the document. Now you will see that in the new document, there are lots of different dispute resolution mechanisms that have been inserted in the document that weren't agreed on. And that's how, for example, like for loss of membership, for example, it says that you have to exhaust all the dispute resolution mechanisms before a party can, for example, leave the coalition. Those are not things that were there before. And then there's a whole section of definitions, things that define different things like consensus building, good health, and all of these things. That section was completely taken out of the document. Okay. There's stuff about the headquarters. What we had in the document before was that the headquarters will always be rotating. And now we have a provision that calls for there to be one headquarter after a certain period when the coalition takes place. So those are just
This guy is talking about the old document. My people, you see, listen, if you listen to me, I know I got plenty of people like the other people can get 2,000. I got only 69, 50. Let me say I got 50 because I see 69, but I got 50. Don't listen to them. Look at the guy explaining from the old document that the people trash already. The old document, the lawyers fix it and say you're going to get X, Y, Z, 10 different recommendations. And it was done. And you're listening to Mo Ali. It was done in structured and other things. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, my people. Labro finio. Labro finio.
There are other, parts of the document.
I have a question. Document is she citing from? Is it the one that you said the review committee did, or is it the one from the lawyers that was approved by the parties? What document is she citing?
The signed version the signed version that was notarized on the 27th of July or something like that, and I'm comparing it to our final framework agreement that was sent out on May 19th.
Referring to a document from not before the lawyers' documents that was approved by the parties. How can you empower a team of lawyers to amend the document that you admitted that the lawyers you were aware that the lawyers amended the document? Yeah, you claim you didn't see the lawyers, but you didn't trashing what the lawyers did. Is she going to let me land?
Talia, let her land, please. Let her finish her
She's
thought.
completely trashing the lawyers that unless she is arguing that the lawyer's document was not confirmed and approved CPP as the approved document, why is she going back to the previous document before it was sent to the lawyers? Why? Please, somebody ask.
Are you saying? Let me ask you a question, Mariah. Talia, I want to ask you this question. The two documents you are comparing, are you comparing the original framework and the amended framework that the lawyers did? Is that what you are comparing?
Those are the only two documents that we have to compare.
She's not comparing. That's not what she's comparing.
Okay. This is what they're intentionally trying.
No, Ben. That is to be clear to the people. That is not that's not what she's comparing. She's citing provisions from in the May 19th document and not the ones that the lawyers did.
Okay, guys. All parties decided that they will have lawyers look at this document. Again, the question I'm asking, Talia, the document you are comparing, are you comparing your original framework, which was signed on May 19 before all hell broke loose, to the document that the lawyers amended? Is that the two documents you're comparing?
So let me just say this. The documents that the lawyers did were never, that document was never given back to any committee to review and sign.
Okay.
Our advice and consent. The amended copy, we have copies of. And we must work together to ensure that we don't disappoint the Liberian people.
We were asked to compare three documents. The document that was signed on May 19, 2020, the document that was given by the lawyers, and the one that was presented to the NEC. First, it is an agreed fact that the document that was signed on May 19, 2020 was not the document that was presented to the NEC, truly because the lawyers were asked to review and make recommendations. The fact that the document that was signed on May 19, 2020 was not the document that was presented to the NDC, truly because the lawyers were asked to review and make recommendations.
Okay.
The lawyers submitted a version that they called the amended framework collaborative document. That document, there were some changes done in it. There were one or two restructuring before being submitted to the Elections Commission.
Okay.
The lawyers submitted a version that they called the amended framework collaborative document. That document, there were some changes done in it. There were one or two restructuring before being submitted to the Elections Commission.
We are in the CPP to say we ain't going nowhere.
Is there any plan to keep out Collins from the CPP, or is there any plan that you have Joseph Yuma Boyka, Benda Yure, and Yombli Kanga removing themselves from the collaboration?
The only plan I know is to further solidify the unity of the CPP is to have
a politician,
a strengthened CPP. What are all plan? I ain't know about them.
Is that a plan that you will fight against once that hit your decks, that listen, this thing is too tough, it's too rough, we either get rid of ABC or we leave CPP? Is that a plan you can assure the Liberian people that you, Mo Ali, you're going to fight against?
Let me ask this question. If we were to run away from competition in the CPP, how are we going to stand a competition nationally? Let me nationally disintegrate the CPP. It's a united CPP. So nobody going anywhere. If somebody else wants to leave willingly, you cannot stop them. But for the Unity Party, we are in the CPP and we are there for good.
Yeah, where are we with black voting? Where are we on that?
They're up on the radar.
We will propose that voting by resolution in an eventual CPP primary should be adopted as part of our guidelines.
Okay, guys, I think you listen to it, and these are some of the lies and some of the truth. And the UREs are the serious problem in the CPP. They brought this, and sometimes I sit and regret why Mr. Cummings joined, but then I can say no, it was a reason. At least it opened our eyes to know that there are a lot of wicked politicians in Liberia who don't want to see Liberia going forward, who don't want to see good Liberians getting into politics. So it have shown to you, and you're supposed to see it for yourself. Look at Mr. Cummings. Why Mr. Cummings should go through this torture? Why he should be tortured like this? Why? Why? Why we have to go this low because of power? And we sold ourselves to the devil, so the devil handle us. The devil handle us because of a lot of Judases we have in the CPP. You get the longest serving statesman in the country lying publicly that he signed on 5 documents. You go and Google it right now, they will tell you the CPP framework was signed on the day Mr. Cummings took over. And let me ask you, you saw all the programs. You saw programs when Yombli was taking over. You saw the Bwaka program. You saw any program when Mr. Cummings was taking over? No. It was in the heat of the COVID. But she said I was the 25th. But go and Google it for yourself. And they will tell you when the CPP framework, in fact, some of the newspapers will tell you, say, CPP have finally come up with a framework and will be signed on this day. And then the following day, you check the newspaper, the Inquirer, they carry it on the 20th. It was carried in the newspaper. So, you know, the lies, I don't understand. Why are we doing this? And if you want Joshua to be president, fine. Let Joshua be president, and everybody will suffer. I want to say everybody for the sake God for all. I want to call B-Day, drought B-Day. If you die, I worry. So let me play my coming speech. I'd rather lose graciously than to be behind any corrupt people. Let me play Mr. Cummings' speech, and then from that, I'll go through the comments.
My fellow Liberians, despite our diversity, we are a united people, a great and noble people. Through the strength of our unity and the resilience of our determination, we have begun to rebuild a ravished country and have survived 2 deadly health crises. Our people have stood together as one united people, ready to face the future. Whether you are a fisherman of Grand Cru and Sino, the hunters of Grand Jide and River G, the farmers of Lofa and Bapolu, the Gola and Vai dancers of Bumi and Cape Mount, the hospitable people of Bassa and River Cess, the warriors of Maryland, the miners and explorers of Nimba, the merchants and traders of Bong, the welcoming people of Magibi, or the melting pot of Montserrado. We are one people, Liberians. We have a great challenge and opportunity ahead of us. In unity, we will rebuild this country as a shining example in Africa, demonstrating the power of a determined and united people. Our economy and our national budget will expand and grow like never before. We will improve the lives of our people and put smiles on the faces of our citizens. I promise you that together we can and will do the job. A new day is on the horizon. The time for babysitting is over. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Okay, that's a good one. Musu Cooper said, "Why are you so angry?" They said, she said, they are not calling the lawyers because the lawyer's code of ethics does not. Like, no, it's different. You can subpoena the lawyer. If you subpoena the lawyer, there's nothing you can do about it. The lawyers will not come out right now and say anything. That is why they're not speaking out publicly. But if the court subpoena the lawyers will come out and speak. But they will not talk about it. You can call them for interview. They will not talk about their clients and whatsoever. So that is the advantage. But you see, Mr. Cummings had no choice because Yombi was the chairperson. In the CPP, the chairperson make the final decision on who to put together. But if Mr. Cummings was the chairman and you are going to bring such a thing out, Mr. Cummings are going to call the lawyer straight and say, listen, come and explain to us if this is what you gave us. Simple. That's the simplest way. You hire the lawyer. Let the lawyer just tell you, is this what you did? So if you look on, after they politicize everything, they give it to the lawyer. The lawyers told them, say, listen, you expect us to come and give a ruling or to say something. We're not going to do it. But one thing we say was on number 7 and number 7 there, that we were authorized. We did structure, we did amendment and structure on the documents. That was it. It was clear enough. But it never said who was wrong or who was not wrong, you know. Jared Suma, I don't know what you're really trying to type here. Framework, document. What are you join the other framework together? Document, you're still wrong. So I don't know what one you're trying to do here. You still misspell it. I will open file 13. File 13, not small file. Trust me, I play you pour the dirty thing. When you releasing it all, people will cry. They're not insult. File 13, not insult. So because of the so-called code of ethics, no, you got to call them out. They don't Stephen, don't worry. If the SG do not, we will call for them to subpoena them. So it's not anything. Now the same chat room, Mr. Boaka say it was not official anyway. Like I told her not to. Anthony, I saw your missed call, my brother, about tied up. It's a tight race. If you want, go lay down instead of standing with Mr. Cummings. Another fool. Wow, Mo Ali. ABC is covered with the blood of Jesus. We expose them every day. Trust me, the tips will come up every day. I'm telling you, sometimes that's the right one. The guy can lie, man. I think I can't lie like that. So, talking about the Zoom on the her own part saying that The document was signed when Mr. Cummings was taking over. Mr. Cummings took over May 19. May 19, the signature was not collected on the same May 19, as if Mo Ali went around, as if they were all sitting in one room. Look at to show you are dumb too, my man. You say I speak like God, see trouble. Do you know when someone say we should never? I never say you will never. I say we should never allow them state power. Stupidness, every one of you can purchase it for and keep it. That's the problem with you. Yeah, hard to learn. Dull people. Dull. Very dull. Dull. Very, very dull. You are a liar. Ure got his money before Charles Taylor got in power. Another dull Livingstone. You know Ure more than me? Another dull Livingstone. Let me give you a little history about Ure. You even know where Ure worked before the war. You were working with LEC. LEC sent you to the state graduate and went back. You were working with LEC before the war. You are doing his little rubber business still. You will never have money compared to what he got when Charles Taylor get him. You don't even know. So just shut up. Ure got his money before Charles Taylor came to power. You want them about Ure? Love Hopkins. I'm telling you, man, they get a lot broad. They too will not catch them. The thing will not catch them. Social media, hold it on tape. We catch them one by one. They will never hold public office. Never. Just watch it. In fact, let me give you a little example. Imagine the CPP election. Darius Dillon won District 15 with 50, almost 54, 53%. And Taylor Ure lost. That God know how to treat people. God just close their eye and say, y'all do whatever. She's not ready yet. So every one of them were trying to get into power just for, yeah. So imagine, Darius Dillon won with 53% in Lockington in District 15. And she lost. So you're trying to tell me that the people who voted for Darius Dillon voted against her? Something ran somewhere. He let God turn his back to talk to somebody when happy. Man, you read that he had string that he thought that guy had to steal. Yep. All of them are criminals. You don't see her restaurant how it was dirty behind there. And Josephine went to close it down. They died out behind that restaurant not easy. Aaron Mane, this is not true. Some people are programmed, and they are programmed by the mass of nepotism at its highest height. Father and daughter are in a crown business. Look, that whole case over. That case, y'all, yeah, it. Serena Seaforth will just come out one day and say, we got enough evidence. All we know exactly the game that they are playing to slow Mr. Cummings down, because Cummings alone going all over the place. They're not worried about Bwaka. They're not worried about Bwaka. Thank you, friend. Thank you. But I am very disappointed in Mr. Bwaka. I tell you, I had a lot of respect for Mr. Bwaka, but for politics to go that low, to even fall for Ure lies, that you, Bwaka, signed 5 documents on that day. Wow. I think the woman lost in it, man. The woman having memory loss. Yeah. The woman really having memory loss. Seriously. He signed 5 copies of the same damn document you get. I'm telling you. He signed the first one, put it down. He signed the second one so everybody can get copy. Mr. Bwaka, man. And it's the same time Mr. Cummings took over. They still feeling forgetting. It almost like your first day going to class, you want to know what, no matter what, you still remember that day. Oh yeah. They don't want to say the document was signed. The main document on the 25th. But Mr. Cummings' document again May 19th. And at the same document Mo Ali was talking about that they told them they had 3. They had a document that was signed May 19th, and the one that was given to the lawyers, and the lawyers presented it, and changes were made and whatsoever. At that time, Mo Ali was in his little good attitude. But when people program those, I wish, why other people like that? They look at bad and they follow it. Why? It's just that they want to, or because they want fast money, or they want to enjoy. And according to Liberia, everybody that I know who really steal from government, they stole enough. They all broke today. Some of them, the houses they build are all leaning one side, breaking apart, no money. Some of them thinking about selling it. They live in America today. And I tell you, man, it's sad. Like everybody says, no sign, no sign, no sign. Hey, we're plenty. Thank you. When I look at call myself, I say, oh boy, don't tell me I'm talking here like crazy, man. Nobody hear me. That's the fact. Listen, the war have started. The political war is on. Do not allow no one to bully us. We're not going to allow nobody to say, oh, we're not acting like Mr. General. Anybody calls Mr. Cummings, will cost them back. Serious, I'm serious. I'm serious about it. I'm not saying don't criticize Mr. Cummings. You got the right to criticize Mr. Cummings. You got the right to say, but don't start lying and you insulting and saying kinds of things. You think we're stupid? No. We'll give it right back to you. We'll give it right back to you. What's up, Regina? Yep, we'll give it back to you. Spoon taller and continue. Continue going. I got another one on the same thing here, but I cut it off. Kept Assam pissed off. You guys lied on Mr. Cummings. You need to apologize. But then the next day you hear that, oh, Mr. Cummings, that idiot. Mr. Cummings, that you think that I want to come in? You think that? Sure. You're not supporting Mr. Cummings. You supporting Mr. Cummings. Who cares? That you have belief. You don't want to support Mr. Cummings. You don't need to. That boy, he got all the videos. I think I don't like all these things that you send it to them. I share all these videos in the chat, in the ANC chat room. I share it with other people. These are videos they can use. And you see, that's what pissed me off about all the guys. All the guys that got the big network and Spoon, the other people. Y'all got all the videos. You just need to look at them. Someday when I got nothing to do, I just look and view them. I'm looking for some video. Some video I'm looking for. You know, because the guys lie too much. Yeah. Well, you say against their leader. Now the same people gave Mr. Cummings, so they crucified Mr. Cummings. So the SG9 is pilot. He said, me wash my hair. That your own people that you're giving. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Share this video. I appreciate your time. I will be on tomorrow. And Saturday, I might not be on because I got to attend a 70th birthday of one General Smith. No, General Wright. General Wright will be celebrating his 70th birthday. And I got to be there. He sent me a message. He said, my son, you got to be to this program. So I will do everything to attend. Yeah. But guys, this is serious. I will say this. I have no problem with anybody who want to support whoever you want to support. That's your right. But we shouldn't allow politicians. I'll be honest. If I can go against President Weah, I see nobody. In fact, why was it President Weah? My brother, biological brother from Ma and Pa, we're not in the same political party. He's part of the NPP. He's part of the CDC and NPP group. So if I can go against them, I don't see anybody. If Mr. Cummings was not the right person for me, if Mr. Cummings was a funny guy, if Mr. Cummings was a gay, if Mr. Cummings was corrupt, if Mr. Cummings was a liar, I will not be behind Mr. Cummings. I don't support people based on what? I support people based on my conviction. Whatever I see, I check, I look, no matter what. Change is hard. People will not see it today. They will not know what we're going through. Some people think that, listen, you know when you tell somebody, say, oh, that you're looking for a job. Yes, I'm looking for a job. I'm working. If my government call upon me to go work home, depends on what I'm going to do, I will accept it. If it's not okay with me, no, I will not accept it. Because I can lie to nobody. Nowhere, no way that I, Munel Kishen, will leave. They say, oh, Mr. Cummings won the election. Mr. Cummings, he's the next president. They are running. Oh, I used to work with Labor Ministry before. Oh, the scale of it. Oh, yeah, Mr. Cummings, we made the man to do what they again. They got people in Liberia who can do that job. They got people in Liberia who can do a better job as Inspector General or some assistant minister for trade union or deputy minister. They got people right there. Look, when the head is clean, everybody will follow. That's the point. In every organization, if you get an honest leader, things will flow, things will be okay. If the leader is corrupt, forget it. In government, because the government is corrupt, look, it's so shameful. You saw that notice that going around about the identification center. Why? A government. I'm a second make mistakes. Sometimes I text, like today I put a, sometimes when you're texting, you want to put a post up. You put the first one, then you try to change it, and then you leave another word. There's somebody say, "Oh, in fact, after I came from where I look, I said, oh shit." I said, I just posted how to take out the walls from on it. But look at this thing here. That is shameful. A government put up a sign and they misspell identification. Identification. They misspell it. A whole sign by government. Look here. Look at this thing here. Look at this. Republic of Liberia, National Identification Registry. Eh. But that's a sign they put up with paint. With paint. Why? They misspell again invisible. They get invisible, they get invincible. IE is invincible. They misspell it, they spell it invisible. They misspell again President Weah name at the airport. They misspell the name again. In fact, history. The white man you ask them, they say, you say George Weah are the 25th president. In Liberia, say George Weah are 24th president. I think that Ellen brought out one there because she threw Moses Blah away. And, I don't understand our country. Why? I don't know. We are afraid. We shame to ask people to edit things for us. For what? Why? We need to, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yes, I got it on your page, man. I don't know. It's sad. Please, if I understand, we all love our country. But Liberia is in a situation where if we do not do anything, look, this is not about whether Mr. Bwaka is from Lofa County or whatsoever. And I posted and I stamped on my post. The people from Lofa County, my brothers and sisters from Lofa County, I tell you, majority of them, they vote strictly on tribal line. Strictly on tribal line. You get 10 Lofians. They always spread out to that Lofian. They will not take you easily. So if you get 1 or 2 Lofians, fine. Not every one of them is the same. The ones that are from Monrovia, they are different. When they leave that county, their minds are different. When they leave Lofa County, you know what I'm saying? That's why some people say that and Nate got sick because Mr. Bwaka was going to court. And the judge in that court, he from Lofa County. So that's why he was there protecting me. Everything. You say obscene, everything. Every question they ask. I can't believe it. Simple question that you don't ask. Then you say, that trap you set it for the man. Or you say you signed this one. Yes. So, oh, no. Objection. Abstain. Bam. A pass. Out of 49, only 6. They asked what the last food you ate. They object to that one, but they forgot. They thought they were asking something bad. Yeah. I just joking around now. So Liberia, we into mess. Look, and nobody can come. Mr. Bwaka can fix it. Mr. Bwaka is not capable enough to be president. He failed on the CPP. Because you know what happened when Mr. Bwaka president? You think Mr. Weah is worse. You think Mr. Weah is worse. It will be worse under Mr. Bwaka. It will be worse. At least President Weah doing it own, but he's scared small. He's scared a little bit. Under President Bwaka, it will be terrible in Liberia. Terrible. The first thing the Ome can answer question. They ask a question, they all laugh and say, well, you decide. Time will tell. What? Tell y'all listen to him today. You are getting vexed now. That omen is dangerous. That omen is dangerous. I can tell anybody. He pretend as if he don't, but he's not a good man. He's not a good man. He's not a good man. Seriously. No disrespect, but he's not a good man. That omen lie on the oath. Yeah, he's not a good man. Mr. Boaka is not a good leader. Let him just remain as his deacon and whatsoever and pray for himself. But to lie publicly, Mr. Boaka talking about he signed 5 copies. What? Mr. Boaka signed 5 copies? Where? Mr. Ure said, I turned over 5 copies to Mr. Cummings to go and notarize and bring our copy. My people, I beg you. Nowhere will allow you. My name is Peter Paul. My name is Peter Paul. On 5 copies and say notarize all. To do what? To do what? Unless maybe I gave it to other people. I don't know. But nobody will tell you, say, notarize it and keep your copy. No. No. You can't do that. Or your watch. You ain't seen nothing yet. We will disgrace people. Before the case be, people will be disgraced. But they ain't get shameful anyway. They ain't get shameful. They ain't know they call integrity. They don't give a damn. They ain't give a damn about integrity. That's why they can steal. They ain't give a damn about integrity. But y'all will see it. We just waiting for something. When we get it, when we expose them. The woman in the country, she's doing an investigation. She asking questions. Somebody will do lie detector testing. Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. Have a good day. God bless you. Share this video. And we'll talk tomorrow. Don't worry. Don't feel discouraged. Anything they want to say, let them say. Only the ones then who, the ones who talking now, like, you will see, they will stay arrest me. That the one who get long teeth. And when they die, you think they're laughing. So don't worry about them. Let them do whatever they want to do. But they don't know that Mr. Boaka has been disgraced. So they might not worry. They will eat their words. They will eat their words. Don't worry. Bye for now, guys. Talk to you.